So some Republicans have casually co-signed authoritarianism this week. I wish I was exaggerating, but I'm not. On Saturday, 11 current and incoming Republican senators announced in a joint statement that they would object to the congressional certification of President-elect Joe Biden's Electoral College victory next week in a futile effort to hand outgoing President Donald Trump an unelected second term in office. The statement, led by Senator Ted Cruz, what a giant cuck, also calls for the creation of an electoral commission modeled on a similar committee assembled in 1877, saying the commission would conduct an emergency 10-day audit of the election returns in the disputed states, citing unprecedented allegations of voter fraud violations and lax enforcement of election law and other voting irregularities. The letter also argues that states should be allowed to evaluate the commission's findings and could convene a special legislative session to certify a change to their vote if needed. So now, let me tell you the people who are in this. Josh Hawley did his own thing, which was questioning the results of the election. I don't think he signed on to this one, but he did his own thing that was like, we need to, do another recount or acknowledge it's a fraudulent vote or whatever. I think Cruz saw what Hawley did and how he got credit from the right on it. And so Cruz was like, I want to get credit from the right on it too. Me, I'm Ted Cruz. Me, I'm a political fraud and a charlatan. Me. So Ted Cruz was like, I'm going to do that. And so then he wrote this. So he had Hawley, who supported something similar. Gohmert also, I think Gohmert did a lawsuit over this. I forget who he sued, but he did a lawsuit to try to say like Trump won or whatever. Then the other people who signed on to this, Senator Ron Johnson, James Lankford, Steve Daines, John Kennedy, not that John Kennedy, obviously, Marsha Blackburn, of course, Mike Braun, and Cynthia Lummis, Roger Marshall, Bill Haggerty, and Tommy Tuberville. So that's who signed on to this. 11 of them signed on to this. Here's what's interesting to me. The motivations. Like, who's doing it for what reason? When it comes to Ted Cruz, I have no doubt. Even Hawley, too. I have no doubt. It's because they want to be president. Like, that's the only reason why they're doing this. Hawley worked with Bernie on the $1,200 checks, and then he caught a lot of flack from the right. And so, in response to that, because he didn't want to be labeled some sort of socialist for working for the $1,200 checks, he was like, oh, yeah? Well, I'm going to say the election's fraudulent. How you like them apples? And I'm going to try to fight for President Trump on that. And then he got the people back on his side that way. Totally cynical move. He wants to be president. That's what that is. Ted Cruz, exact same thing. Remember, God damn it. Remember back in the Republican primary where Donald Trump kept cucking Ted Cruz repeatedly, even retweeting something like, basically saying like, I wouldn't fuck your wife. Oh my God. Insane stuff. Insane. And then Ted was like, leave my wife out of this. Me. And then, fast forward to when Trump gets the nomination, Ted goes, he's making phone calls with that cuck face on, like basically campaigning or canvassing, I should say, for Trump. So, giant cuck. He wants to be president so bad, so he's latching onto that energy. He wants to be able to say, I did whatever I could to make sure that our rightful president stayed in office. Me. That's what he's doing here. So some people on this list have presidential ambitions. And that's why they're doing this. And they know they're full of shit. They know they're full of shit. But, and here's the crazy part, guys. There are other people on this list who are just really dumb. And they've fallen for the propaganda. Like, I don't doubt that Marsha Blackburn and Tommy Tuberville, I think they actually believe the stuff you're hearing on One America News Network and Newsmax and the stuff you're hearing on, far right-wing message boards. I think that they think, no, this thing was stolen. This thing was stolen. Even though Biden won by 7 million votes in the popular vote, even though he has 306 electoral votes, so Trump would need to overthrow 3 or 4 states, she really thinks, no, this is stolen. Tommy Tuberville really thinks, no, this is stolen. So it's kind of amazing to me. And for Hawley and Cruz, for them to latch onto political ambition above and beyond a literal democratic election, look how quickly they threw out any semblance of principles or a belief in our constitutional republic and representative democracy. Threw it out casually, literally holding on to an authoritarian belief just because they have personal political ambition. Disgusting. They think they're being shrewd. It's disgusting. But the others, it's like, wow, you're also just stupid. You're just dumb. The ones who have actually fallen for it, and there are plenty who have fallen for it. But either way, listen, I don't know my overall takeaway from this, because if ultimately it's only 11, and actually the number may have gone up to 13, but if it stays at just that in the Senate, I'm sure there's way more in the House, but if it stays just that in the Senate, that's actually sort of positive, because you would expect over 50% of the Republicans would side with Trump on this, of the elected Republicans, but they're not. A lot of them are not. Actually, Tom Cotton, who's a big Trump sycophant, he also wants to be president, but he said, no, the election's over. And now Trump is going after Tom Cotton on Twitter. So, but honestly, for him, this is the first time and the last time I will ever give credit to Tom Cotton on this show. But yeah, credit on this specific point, because I thought, since he wants to be president, I thought he would play this cynical game like Cruz is playing. I really did. But no, he's saying, no, it's over. So we'll see. When we get all the numbers, we'll talk about it more, like the full breakdown, if it ends up being 40% of the Republicans or 50% of the elected Republicans who side with Trump. But yeah, it's done. And this is just like embarrassing. Now it's just embarrassing. And you're going to have some object on the 6th or whatever it is, and then there'll be a hardcore Republican civil war, and yummy in my tummy, I'm going to have some popcorn and watch that unfold.